What I'm looking for in a bank is one that's looking out for me, like NBT. I want a relationship and a team that supports me in my dreams. And when life gets challenging, I need a bank that's focused on what matters. Not to mention one that's been top-rated by Forbes in trust, customer service, financial advice, and more. That's why when it comes to meeting my banking needs, it's always NBT. Learn more at nbtbank.com. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Welcome and thanks for tuning in. This is Tom Hickey from 2020 Media, and you are listening to NBT Bank's podcast, On the Scene. And we reach over 250,000, that's 250,000 readers of the Jewish Ledger, West Hartford Magazine, and weha.com 24/7, 365. And we are joined today, I'm always joined by my co-host. I'd be lost without him, Bob Carr. So we just want to say good morning, Bob.
Good morning, Tom. Thank you, Tom. Tom Hickey, along with myself, Kosher McCarty, and Ronnie Newton, is a founder of and partner in weha.com. Tom brings to West Hartford the Connecticut Jewish Ledger, West Hartford Magazine, which is West Hartford's original lifestyle magazine, the various tastes of West Hartford. We have one coming up. We have a taste coming up on April 20th, right?
Yeah.
The Best of West Hartford, which recently celebrated its 11th, and now we're going to say coming up to the 10th, to the 11th anniversary, and other fun events throughout the year. Our podcast is assembled and posted by the Modern Observer Group of Middletown, Connecticut. And today our guest is Alex Page-Hatley. Is it Hatley or Hartley? Did I get it right? Hatley.
Yep.
Okay. Of the Bushnell Center for the Performing Arts. Wow, there's a lot of mouthful there. Sorry about that. Well, welcome, Alex. And we were discussing a little bit before we got on here. I've been to the Bushnell. I was trying to remember, probably 100 times and maybe more. I lived in Connecticut for 40 years, and from almost the beginning of living there to even recently, we're members of the Connecticut Forum. We go up on a regular basis. So can you tell us a little history of the Bushnell? Because that's how we all know it as, right? We don't know it as the Bushnell Center for the Performing Arts. We just know it as the Bushnell. It's locally.
Yeah. And thank you, first of all, for having me on your podcast. So excited to be here. So yeah, the history of the Bushnell, I mean, that's a loaded question, right? We are about 95 years old. We'll turn 100 in 2030. We have a long history of bringing the performing arts to the Hartford community. We have deep roots in the education sector, bringing arts experiences to thousands of regional schools in the district, in Hartford and surrounding districts. And yeah, we just love being here. We love the performing arts. We're passionate about it, and we're proud to be bringing the best of Broadway to Hartford every year and every season. So that's kind of us.
And Alex, just refresh my memory, because time flies so much. As Bob had said, we all remember growing up with the Bushnell, and that whole experience. When was the smaller version of the Performing Arts Center added? That's called Mortensen, correct? Or my date?
So
Yeah.
Mortensen Hall is the big hall. That is our 100-year-old theater.
Okay,
The smaller theater is Belding, and that was built in 2000, opened in 2001. So it's about 25 years old.
Jeez, that's
wow. 2001. I used to be a subscriber to the Connecticut Opera, and I think the last opera I saw was the last one they performed. I didn't realize it was that long ago. It was at the Belding.
Yes.
Oh, 2000.
Time flies.
Well, both theaters are beautiful. They did different experiences in each one, So I've been to the ballet at the smaller one more recently, and to the Bushnell, like I said, the Connecticut Forum, and to many of the Broadway shows.
Yeah. Well, you'll relate to this, Bob, because this was my introduction to Alex, because, for so many years, it used to be these, favors for press passes or whatever it was to get into some, Lion King or some great Broadway show. Now my world has turned to trying to get VIP passes to Paw Patrol for my 3-year-old grandson. So you're like, so funny how things change, And
that's a hot ticket, let me tell you.
Yeah,
absolutely. To Paw Patrol.
It's funny.
How does the Bushnell choose what Broadway shows to bring in? Is there just a regular circuit of them, or is there things that you can pick and choose from over the year?
Sure. So that's our wonderful programming department works with each tour to kind of coordinate schedules. So each tour has a route that they're going around the country and they may have some dates open. So they call us and say, "Hey, do you have these dates open on your calendar?" And sometimes we do and sometimes we don't. Obviously, there are hotter shows and shows we want first out of the gate, first off Broadway. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't always happen. Shows that are investors or theaters that are investors in shows might get a higher choice of if they come to your theater first. But it really is up to the schedule and the route and if it works out with you. So this year we have 9 shows, 8 in our season and 1 off sub. And other years we have less than that, and the other years we have more than that with off sub shows. So we always aim to have about 11 to 12 weeks of Broadway in Hartford. And this year we have 11. But yeah, it's truly up to if our routing and our schedules both align and the stars align, and we can find a date in a week to have them at the Bushnell.
Do you have those Broadway shows, Alex, off the top of your head? Can you share them now, or is that?
Yes, we announced our season on March 31st. We open our season with The Notebook. It's a wonderful musical based on the beloved movie. Music and lyrics by Ingrid Michaelson, who is an award-winning singer, songwriter, kind of folksy music. She's great. It's a beautiful story. Bring your tissues. You'll need them. Then we have Spam-A-Lot, and if you've seen these, please feel free to jump in and comment, because Spam-A-Lot is one of my all-time favorites. I was introduced to it in college, and believe me, I've used the Lady of the Lake song in more than one audition that I've done. So it's based on the Monty Python and the Holy Grail. Completely hilarious. Just come in and laugh. It's a good time. The music is great. It's a family show, so you could bring kids to that one. It's hilarious. So love that one. Then we have Suffs starting our year in 2026. That is a musical based on the suffragist movement. It is about the women who fought for women's right to vote. It is a very powerful musical. It will inspire you. You will laugh. You will cry. You will want to go out and march in the streets.
We wanted to see that when it was on Broadway, and we missed it. So that's good to know. It's something we wanted to go see, and we had it on our to-do list, but didn't happen.
Yeah, it is wonderful. I mean, big name producers, Hillary Clinton, Malala Yousaf is a producer on that one, written and starred in by Shania Taub, who won multiple Tonys for that show. Just an incredible show. And then we have Shucked. Have you guys heard of Shucked?
Yeah, that was one that was interesting. That was about corn, right?
That's right. It is a musical about corn, and it is corny, I will say. It's full of it's just slapstick, turn off your brain and laugh kind of humor. A great score, book by Robert Horn, so great jokes. It is hilarious. It's a good time. Not appropriate for kids, probably of certain ages. Then we're bringing back the return of Kinky Boots, which is always wonderful to have at the Bushnell. Just such a great story, and I feel like
I gotta jump in on that one.
of course.
Anybody had that? We go into Broadway quite a bit, and that's Harvey Fierstein and Cyndi Lauper. And the movie was great, but the book and the story is so much better on stage. So if somebody has seen the movie, this is a whole different take on that. It's not a replay of the film. And I will say, of all the shows I've ever seen, and I saw Hamilton on Broadway as well, this is my favorite show of all time.
Oh, wow.
Absolutely my favorite show of all time. Yeah, I love the story, I love the book, I love the music. I mean, so it just hit me. So anyway.
It is wonderful. And for the season announcement, we had them ship us the boots for our host to wear. And I have a picture of myself holding them up. They come up to my waist. They're they're very impressive. I don't think I could walk in them, but
Can you dance in them? That's the question, right?
that's right. And then next up, we have Disney's Beauty and the Beast, their 30th anniversary tour. It is crazy that it's been out for 30 years. I feel so old. But that is obviously a great family show. The kids will love it. Beautiful sets, beautiful costumes. I mean, it's Disney, so they spare no expense. Then we have the last two shows of the season, and Juliet, which is based on the pop music of producer Max Martin. He's written all of the hits of the early 2000s that you know. Roar by Katy Perry. He's written songs for Backstreet Boys, Britney Spears, NSYNC. It is a jukebox musical that is based on the rewritten story of Romeo and Juliet. So if Juliet did not kill herself after Romeo died, what would happen? And it goes from there.
Cool idea.
Cool.
Yes, it is very fun. And then our last show of the season is Water for Elephants, which is based on the book and the movie. It's a beautiful show about, it's about romance. It's got circus. I mean, the acrobatics alone are worth coming for. It is a whole troupe of really talented acrobats who are doing all the tricks you'd see at the circus live on stage. And then in addition, it has some really beautiful puppetry that is, just so there's an elephant and a horse and an orangutan that are just gorgeous to see those puppets. And then, of course, off-sub, we have 2 weeks of Hamilton in November, coming back for the third time.
Great.
Wow, that's great.
Where will you find West Hartford's best and most comprehensive business news? At weha.com. Subscribe to the weha.com newsletter Business Buzz for free every Monday at weha.com. Log on to we-ha.com. We have it all in West Hartford.
And Alex, we're going to ask you about tickets and how to get them. But if somebody has a question, about tickets or, packages or season tickets, how do they reach out to you?
Thank you for asking, Tom. You can reach out to us at bushnell.org, and you can join our waiting list for new subscribers, which we'll start seeding new subscribers starting in June. But you can also call the box office at 860-987-5900.
Beautiful. And one more time, say that phone number.
860-987-5900.
Thanks. I'm sorry, Bob. Did I interrupt you?
No, I say there's, one of the things that Bushnell has, which is that huge stage, which makes it easy, not easier, but it makes it more likely that those shows are going to be shown, performed and produced very similar to what they would be done on Broadway.
That's right. That's right. And, over the years, you asked kind of about our history, and we've had to make several changes to our stage based on touring shows that we wanted. We had to reinforce the ceiling. So we have the largest hand-painted mural ceiling in the country in Mortensen Hall. It's called Drama, and it's the one with the skyscrapers in the sun. It's gorgeous. You can go on our website and see it. But we had to take that, reinforce the ceiling behind it, and cut a hole in it so that the Phantom chandelier could be supported when the Phantom tour came. We also had to build out the back of the theater and bust down the wall between backstage and our stars green room so that Pride Rock could slide in there when the Lion King comes. Otherwise, it wouldn't fit. So we've had to make some changes in order to accommodate these ever-growing Broadway shows.
Do you ever do tours of the theater just on its own without because the ceiling is beautiful. It's absolutely gorgeous. And so, folks who are not necessarily interested in, say, theater, or a million other things that the Bushnell puts on, could they go in and just see the history of the place?
Yes, of course. If you go to bushnell.org and then visit, you can sign up to get a tour. They're completely free. Our wonderful tour guide volunteers lead them. They're about an hour and a half, depending on, how many questions you want to ask. You can see, they'll tell you the whole history of both theaters and the stage, and they'll take you into the electrician's room where The head electrician has asked over our 100 years the stars who are worthy to sign the wall. So it is covered in signatures from Judy Garland to, oh my gosh, to Ray Charles to, I mean, the huge names who have been on our stage have all signed that wall. Katharine Hepburn.
Wow. That's
Yeah,
awesome. Connecticut's own Katharine Hepburn.
exactly. Who called the Bushnell a barn, but in a good way.
of course, in her own way, right? Yeah, fun. Uh, good.
So on the shows that you have here, which are you, do you have you seen them all, or you mostly seen them all, or how do you?
So I've seen them all. I haven't seen Beauty and the Beast since I was very little, so I don't really remember much of that one. But I mean, I am looking forward to everything this season. I'm really looking forward for people to see Suffs. I just think it's so interesting. You know, you've heard of some of the main characters in that story, like Susan B. Anthony, but she's not even mentioned because there were so many people who came before her who did this work to get us where we are today. So it's really about the lesser known people who are part of the women's voting rights movement, and you know, all the trials and the tribulations they went through to give us the right to vote. It's truly inspirational. And then I'm also looking forward to, like I said, I just love Spamalot. It's got a special place in my heart. So
No,
it's just silly.
that's a show that I have not seen, and I've been trying to figure out where to go. And it's playing. My daughter lives outside Albany, and so it's playing up in Albany. But now they know it's playing at Bushnell, so it makes it a little bit easier get there.
Alex, is there anything you had said that the theater will be 100 years old in 2030, right? Is that what you said?
Right. Yes.
Is there anything that, we're not looking for any great scoop or anything, but is there anything fun or exciting or different that's happening? I mean, I know there's always something happening, but any big plans for the 100th, or too soon to say?
No, we've actually already started meeting about it. We have a committee together, and we have some really big plans for our 100th anniversary. Like I can't reveal anything too soon, but there will be events, there will be celebrations, there will be, future planning, looking at our place in the community, special programming. It's going to be a huge celebration. So we're very excited.
I know when we were talking about the history of the building, I was just saying just now, with the age being almost 100 years old, just the maintenance, in, like you said, all the murals and all the, that's probably, golden, to call it, but on the inside, I think of this all the time with my bringing the 3-year-old, in May. He's not going to appreciate it, but he will be awed, just by the sheer, size of the whole thing, and I think anybody who hasn't, there are listeners, who have not been there yet, so we need to encourage them, to make a visit. And how does that work? They can come just by show, or they have to buy a package, or what do they do?
You can buy individual show tickets, you can buy a package, and if you haven't come, I encourage you to just give it a try. Try something that looks interesting to you, or we have everything from comedy to concerts to Broadway to ballet, to symphony. We have our wonderful partners at the Hartford Symphony Orchestra, who are actually our resident partner. They have offices here in the building with us. So there is truly something for everyone, and everyone is welcome here, and we encourage you to come.
Well, I think Bob, you just increased ticket sales for Kinky Boots. I mean, right?
Yes, your favorite show.
It is a tremendous show. I have to say, and again, I saw Hamilton. Hamilton is, it's unique. Has some great creativity. Lin-Manuel Miranda did a great job in taking different voices, different sounds into the theater. I just happen to truly love Cyndi Lauper, so so I think that's part of it. And also, Harvey Fierstein was Harvey. Had the right name.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's correct.
Yeah, so it's not to get that confused. Not Weinstein, Bob. Tremendous Broadway talent, tremendous Broadway talent. So the two of them together created a great show, which I think was I'm glad it's touring because it's one of those shows that you don't get a lot of chance to see. It didn't last a long time on Broadway. Like Suffs didn't last a long time on Broadway. There are certain shows that just don't that have legs, but they don't last a long time on the Broadway stage. So
I don't know why, but until you guys mentioned Suffs, I hadn't even heard of it, in the whole bit. So that intrigued me, right there, just to see something different, which is
short-lived.
yeah, exactly.
So just a couple things that you said earlier that I think interesting that theaters that invest in Broadway shows I never heard of it. I didn't know that. I didn't know that smaller theater or theaters outside the Broadway marketplace actually invest in those shows. How does that work? Or
Yeah, and it is, it is a strategic decision that is different for each theater. So not every theater invests in Broadway shows, but if, there are relationships between producers and that theater, and with our proximity to New York, we do have connections. Our CEO, David Fay, is, well connected with a lot of producers. So if he gets word or he sees an early showing of something and he thinks it has real potential, he'll will strategically invest into that show, and that way sharing in some of the profits if it does well, either on Broadway or on tour. And we also have lots of individuals who are on our board or patrons of the Bushnell who are also investors in Broadway shows.
the other thing I wanted to think, you mentioned very early about the educational experience that's available in the Hartford area through the Bushnell. How does it manifest itself?
Yeah, thank you for asking. I love to talk about this subject because I feel like there's so much work we do in this area that is not really well known. So we have two kind of professional development programs. One is called the Ensign Darling Vocal Fellowship, and one is called the Bushnell Performing Arts Scholarships. And both of these are programs where we bring in master teaching artists. We bring in folks from New York City, from Broadway. We bring in vocal coaches, acting coaches, who really work with these students to take it to the next level. And they accumulate with a performance in the spring. So Ensign Darling has 2 concerts in the spring, and the Performing Arts Scholarship will put on a performance of Matilda Jr. And especially Ensign Darling Vocal Fellowship, which has been around for several years now, a lot of these kids go on to be on Broadway. We've had kids who went on to star in Miss Saigon and be in ensembles. And so it is really a wonderful program that just gives so much education and insight into life in this industry. We also have programs for high schools and middle schools where we invite the kids in and they'll see a show, usually part of our Bushnell Children's Theater program. And then they'll kind of take a week to really digest the show. And then we'll bring teaching artists in to the schools for a day. And then the kids can go through different arts exercises, whether that's drumming or sewing or collaging or dancing, and they kind of process what they learned in that show through these different art forms. So really giving them a way to be creative, to process those emotions, and to spark that appreciation for the arts at a young age. And that's just 3 there are several more. So I encourage you to look at the website.
Let's use that as a segue into if people want to learn more, obviously they can call you or call the Bushnell, or they can go online. And what's all that information one more time?
Yes, thank you. Bushnell.org is our main website. There are all the tabs on top, shows and concerts for tickets, education, to learn about those programs, and then the visit tab for the tours like you had asked about earlier. And again, Bushnell.org, or call the box office at 860-987-5900.
Wonderful. Well, as always, time flies. Believe it or not, thank you for your time, Alex. And not only do we encourage everyone to support the Bushnell, but as well our sponsor, NBT Bank, because without them there would be no podcast. So we will be Bob and I and Alex and everybody at the Bushnell will be looking for you at the Bushnell, but also anywhere on the scene. In the meantime, be safe and be well.
What I'm looking for in a bank is one that's looking out for me, like NBT. I want a relationship and a team that supports me in my dreams. And when life gets challenging, I need a bank that's focused on what matters. Not to mention one that's been top rated by Forbes in trust, customer service, financial advice, and more. That's why when it comes to meeting my banking needs, it's always NBT. Learn more at nbtbank.com. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.